Where's the crash site now?
Over there. We're getting closer.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, bringing you Chapter 5 in my Enslaved hard difficulty video walkthrough. And this is the crash site. This is what we've been moving towards. This is the objective that we've been currently chasing. And the start of this mission is an introduction to a new gameplay mechanic, which is the Nimbus disc. I don't know its name, but that's pretty much what the fuck it is. And if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball, you'll know exactly what that is. And just think of it as an energy skateboard slash surfboard. And this entire start bit is for you to get used to it. But what I'm going to be doing is, for the first few minutes of this video, I'm going to be going around all these bits of ruin and trying to find all the orbs I can to help, you know, for the purpose of getting upgrades and making the game easier. You don't have to do what I'm doing right now. You can simply do the objectives of pushing the truck down and then pushing the container down so that Tripp can carry on through the level, and you can get on with it as you would any other thing. But I'm going to be doing this as meticulously as I can, and it's going to benefit you in the end, so I would definitely advise doing it. So in the meantime, instead of talking about the gameplay, because it's just going to be me surfing around like a champion, I'm going to talk about something different. And I've got Balls of Steel on in the background, which if you don't know, it's an English sketch. I won't say sketch, it's an English prank show where people do, you know, pretty raunchy and unsavoury things on the general public to get a laugh out of them. And it's pretty funny. Some of it's a bit shit, but some of it is kind of funny. And there's a sketch here about a game show where all these people have to sign a contract that they'll have sex with the person whoever wins it. And it's pretty much blind date, and I don't know what the American equivalent of that is, so I'm not even going to try. But there is a really attractive girl that gets to ask 3 possible suitors a bunch of questions, and whoever answers in the most raunchy and interesting way is obviously going to be most appealing, and she will pick them, and then they'll go off and they'll have a nice little fuck fest. And it's all set up because in the end they bring out this giant fat woman, so when the guys finally see what they have to fuck, it turns out it's some dirty old woman that is just horrific. She's like a fucking T-Rex. But my reason for mentioning it is because they're asked about what is your craziest sex story. And these guys are on about these threesome stories, and these threesome stories, they are always the most outrageous, most highly sexual and creatively, you know, salacious stories you could ever fucking come up with. And they go into all the details about how they were all dressed as schoolgirls, and they were all sucking on his dick in a nice little fucking daisy chain, and he ended up, you know, lasting 7 hours, not needing any, you know, pharmaceutical assets to keep his dick hard, and how in the end they were all satisfied and you know, showering him with money with gratitude and all this kind of fucking nonsense. And you're just sitting here listening to it just thinking, bollocks. It's like, threesome. It's like, threesomes, sure, are probably a fucking awesome thing. I've not had the privilege, but there is no way in hell that threesomes outside of the porn industry are anything like the stories that people fucking talk about. And you'll notice that they always make it out to be this fucking poetically beautiful and life-changing moment of just sheer sexuality, when in all reality, it's probably just kind of fucking awkward, kind of uncomfortable, depending on it, how your girlfriend takes it, or, you know, how your relationship is and how comfortable you are. And it's like this fucking balancing act of not wanting to piss anybody off and not wanting to look too eager, and it all comes down to your own personal persuasion. But I just love how people that probably 95% are just talking fluent fucking bullshit to try and sound cool. And it's just so unnecessary, man. What's the point in lying? It's horrific. But as you can see, I'm still skating around. I would say get used to the controls of this disc, because there's a couple of chase sequences that really rely on your ability to navigate it, and they are timed and kind of difficult, so you want to be as comfortable with the motion of this thing and its controls as possible, because it is kind of floaty, it's kind of weighted in a bad way, but it's not too bad. And once you unhook this vehicle, it'll allow Tripp to carry on with you, and that is the first section of the level down. But I know there's probably a bunch of you thinking that you weren't going to see Enslaved for a while because I put up the Red Faction video, but I am going to be leapfrogging them. The only problem with this game is, because each level seems to be 24 minutes long, it is absolutely horrific to upload, because it takes about 3 to 4 hours, and it's very prone to failing. And as I've mentioned before, it's all down to my internet, because unfortunately the internet providers in the UK do not put much of a preface on uploading unless you have the highest possible package, and I do on my current provider, but my current provider is the internet equivalent of, you know, fucking Schindler's List. You just don't want to be with it. But once you come over here, once you've got Tripp across, you can push this aside and you can carry on with the rest of the level. Pretty much this next section is going to be a bunch of platforming with you and Tripp doing the, doing the bizzo, doing your thing. And a lot of it involves pushing her up to ledges, carrying her, and then just carrying on afterwards. There's also going to be some light turret manipulation coming up, but it's nothing too challenging, so I don't really need to go into it with too much detail. What I am going to speak about, though, is I just watched the most recent Strike Force event that happened on, I think it was July 31st. And the headliner was Fedor Emelianenko versus Henderson. And I was really excited for the fight. The fight itself didn't last very long because these are two fucking veterans of the sport going in. They've both got lethal power. They're both, really, really killer instinct kind of fighters. And it ended pretty quickly. It could have been an excessive stop, some people could argue, because I don't know, man. The punch that put Fedor down definitely buckled his legs. The next punch probably woke him up because he started to recover and to turn around. But with the looks of it, it looked like Herb Dean had just noticed that punch, completely flattened him. He nosedived and he stopped it thinking he was knocked out. I don't know if he was. And the fight fan inside of me wishes that they would have allowed it to continue so we could have seen it go. But Henderson definitely deserved it. He clipped him, he caught him really well, and it was over in seconds. And the rest of the fights on the card were pretty fucking disappointing, aside from I can't even remember who the hell was in it, which is not good for me. But yeah, I don't know what it is about Strike Force. I do like the commentators. I like Mauro Ranallo. He's pretty cool. I'm not the biggest fan of Frank Shamrock just because he says the same thing every fucking match. And I'm not one of those ignorant people that doesn't respect him, because I've seen pretty much every single UFC, and back in the day the dude was a beast. It's just these days he's kind of the politician of mixed martial arts. But yet it wasn't the most eventful of cards, but I enjoyed it. I do prefer the UFC because it's just so much more polished. Strike Force is kind of like what the UFC was about 5 years ago, because it's just nowhere near as refined. But it has actually been bought out by the parent company that owned the UFC. I think it's the Zampella brothers. So hopefully it's going to get, a little bit more sparkle. It's now being held in Las Vegas, which is good because it's kind of like the hub for mixed martial arts. And if you have absolutely no interest or knowledge of the sport itself, then I'm probably going to shut up now because there's not too much to really speak of. But just make sure that you keep Tripp with you on these sections, because it is quicker than waiting for her to move her ass, because she can be a bit of a pain. And just keep enjoying the interactive and dynamic jumping sections, because this is some pretty interesting stuff. It just looks nice, it's well put together, it's smooth, it's effortless, and it's so much better than the platforming in Castlevania. That is pretty much the fucking weakest point in third-person action game platforming I've come across in a long time. And I prayed. Jiffin else sound like a bit of Team America there. And I actually played the N64 versions of Castlevania that had some of the worst jumping sections I've played since Turok, the original, on the N64, which was a first-person shooter, and the platforming in it was as tight as a fucking duck's ass. So you can imagine the fun of that, especially when the checkpoints were pretty horrific back then. But here is the introduction to, I'm assuming it's the Golden Gate Bridge, or something along those. But yeah, currently at a loss right now of actually what to speak about, because this stuff here is pretty simple. Obviously this guy's one of the electric dudes. If you stay close to him and you beat him up, you shouldn't have any problems. And if you watch out for your surroundings, as soon as the enemies start to attack, use your block. As soon as they stop, that's your opportunity to do your own attacks. Keep charging your ultimate ability that I just did there. And bear in mind that it is pretty much an instant kill to most enemies, so you can use it to get rid of the ones you're not confident with. And then just keep running through, doing whatever it is that you do. A good strategy for stuff like this, especially if you're not confident in the fighting and you want to avoid it, that situation right there, I do have 2 shots of my plasma, and if you've been upgrading it like I have, you can use it to get rid of one of the enemies so you don't have as much of a group to fight. Or you can just do what I'm doing now and you can use this guy's ability to kill his buddies. I mean, look how simple as that is. Soon as you see those icons above the head of the machines, that means that that's the guy you want to kill first, because he's just going to make everything much more easier for you. But as I keep mentioning, I am going away for 3 weeks, and it's going to be 3 weeks without videos. I have got something, well, I wouldn't say special planned, but I've got a couple of fun things to upload towards the end, when I do have to go, to keep people entertained and to inform them of the absence, because my biggest fear is that I finally got some momentum with my channel. I've now got 500 subscribers, and I'm hoping that before I know it, that'll turn into 1,000, and then once you've got 1,000, that obviously just continues to grow, because it's the whole snowball effect. But my biggest fear is losing subscribers because of 3 weeks of inactivity. And the videos I'm going to be putting on before I leave are going to fully explain that this is not me giving up on my channel. This is not me, just vanishing and not coming back to do it ever again. This is literally a holiday, and every connotation and insinuation and meaning behind that word. And when I get back, I'm hopefully going to go back to the same kind of tempo that I try and keep, which is at least 2 videos a day. When I start back at university, I'm going to have the ability to upload a lot quicker, so hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more videos a day. For instance, the Brink guide was pretty much uploaded in a single day, because I was able to do it through the university internet connection, and that's something I hope to try and utilise again, because it's a facility that they give us, and I intend to use it. But I just don't want to lose anybody over that period, and I do have like 500 plus videos, and I know that there's a hell of a lot of people out there that have joined pretty late, so there is a wealth of content to go back and look through. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy and kind of cheap, and a bit of a way to try and get people to try and haul my earlier videos, but at the same time, there is a lot of quality content there, even if you're not interested in it, and you will see the evolution of everything from my commentary style to the quality of the videos that I present, because it's all a learning curve. It's all this big progressive like bar chart that keeps rising and rising and rising. And I'm hoping to keep on pushing higher quality, because I'm learning various things at my university that are going to enable my video editing to improve, and my ability with programs like After Effects to keep putting special hints on my videos, like maybe animated titles and animated watermarks and stuff. And that's the dog turning up once again to remind you that he's still a threat, and you will be seeing him shortly. But this is pretty much a little bit of a split up moment for you and Tripp, where you have to do some platforming and she goes on the opposite side of you. It's all pretty standard fare though, of distracting and then utilising the opportunity to move. There's a kind of interesting section coming up where she's going to be driving a car and you have to use it for cover, and it's really fussy about the turret shooting you and the car staying in line with you, so I should hopefully be able to... I mean, if you watch the video, you will see a good line of how to keep up with it and where it's going to go, but it's preset every time, so the more you do it, the easier it gets. But the turrets might kill you a few times, because it is a bit bullshit if you ask me, especially if you're trying to get the orbs. I would generally say ignore them, because on hard, your shield goes down so quickly, and because I'm not upgrading my life, except for the one that I eventually do, your life is stripped very quickly as well. But... what am I going to be doing? Here we go. This is the first and only time I will be upgrading my life and my shield. I don't know why I did this, truth be told. It doesn't make that much of a difference, because it doesn't increase your life that much until you get to the last one. But I was just spending points. I'd got 240,000 orbs. I might as well put them together. But what have we got here? Stun charge upgrade. So it increases the duration of the stun. That is a must. That is a really cool thing to have. Ammo increase is another good one. It's the stun effect I should be getting. Or am I going for plasma damage? You see, plasma damage is invaluable as well. That'll mean that I will now be able to kill the normal robots in one shot from my plasma cannon. And there I go, increasing my ammo so I can shoot more. I'm a little bit short on full ammo, but everything helps. It all helps moving towards, making the game easier. And the sooner you upgrade the staff's ability to shoot, the easier everything gets. Trust me. It is the simplest terms. But speaking about watermarks, there's a friend of mine that's got a PVR, and he's getting into making the walkthroughs, and he uploaded 2 videos on his channel, and they're a guide for Duke Nukem Forever on its hardest difficulty, and it's how to get the achievement for beating the game on that difficulty. And it's his first videos he put up, and I watched them, and they were really good. I don't know if he's going to watch this. I hope he doesn't, because I haven't had a chance to speak to him yet, and I don't know how he feels, but his intro was very reminiscent of mine, as far as he used the same phrasing as I do, where I say that I present the gameplay. He also has a number in his name, and the design of his name followed mine a little bit too much for my liking as well, because you'll notice that I put seraphim and then the number is smaller and above the writing, almost to the power of the writing. That's what it's themed on, and that's something that goes into the watermark in the top right hand corner if you haven't noticed. And it's just something that I came up on the fly that made it a little bit, more imaginative of a design. It's nothing that I boiled and toiled over to make it perfect, and it's something that I probably will change in the future as I keep editing my intro and creating new content. But I left some messages on my friend's videos, basically pointing out all the things I liked about what he'd done. His commentary was good, considering it was the first one he'd done to my knowledge, and you can tell at the start of it that he's nervous, and he kind of works into it, and he seems to be taking to it really well. And at the end, I basically put your intro designs, the title, and your watermark are very similar to mine. And I jokingly say I should sue your ass for how similar they are, and said that it was pretty weak. And he ended up taking the videos down. And I felt really bad, because he'd been having troubles uploading them, because his internet's not great. He lives in my area. I do know the guy I went to college with him. He's a fantastic guy, and he's a good gamer. And I just hope that he's not fallen out with me, because I've not managed to speak to him in 2 days, and he didn't reply. He just took the videos down. And I wasn't trying to say that they were bad, or that his intro idea was bad, because his intro idea is good. It's just there's all the many possibilities of how you can write things and you can put things on the videos, and his was very similar to mine. He even had his watermark in the top right hand corner. And I don't want to sound petty, and I don't know if I am sounding petty. Please leave a comment if you think I am. But it's just one of those things where YouTube is so oversaturated and so crowded with people making content. You shouldn't really do something that's similar to other people's. You've got to try and make it as unique as possible, and just try and do things your own way. And I just kind of felt that it was a little bit too influenced by me. And hopefully he'll come back with a new design. It'll be fucking awesome, and his channel will build and grow. I'm actually going to be dropping a link to his video, to his channel and his guides and stuff in a future video before I go away, because there's going to be 3 weeks without any content from me. But this is a good friend of mine, and he's starting up, so your guys can go over there, check him out, see what you think, give him some pointers on what he should do better and things he could improve on and all that good stuff. But that's something I'm going to leave for a later video. But it's just one of those interesting situations. And I don't know if your guys have been in anything similar, but yeah, it's weird. Anyhow, back to the game. Right now I've just moved that obstacle, and for whatever reason I'm stood around. It's probably something to do with my capture device or my laptop, because I do have to fiddle with it a lot. And unfortunately, because these don't really show that much on the timeline as an obvious delay or anything along those lines, I don't always spot them, and thus editing them out, they can be kind of a casualty of the editing process. And I could go in now and do it, but it's one of those things that once I commit myself to the commentary, I like to finish it, and by the time I've finished it I like to get it rendered so that I can upload it as quickly as possible. And on my internet connection that can be fucking difficult. But right now, this is the turret section that I mentioned earlier, and as you can see, it is railing me pretty good. The thing is a beast, and they're very accurate, they're very damaging, and because there's no conventional cover system, it can be quite difficult to get away from the torrent of bullets that they fire at you. But be careful when you run across here, because it's going to give me the fucking headset thing where I can't go too far without Tripp trying to kill me, which is so annoying when you're trying to collect orbs. But the basic premise right now is you have to shout to distract the turret, and then you have to command Tripp to come over to this vehicle with you. And she will only do it when fire is drawn away from you. So just keep shouting. It doesn't matter if the turret can't see you. As long as you're doing it, it seems to work just fine. And all you have to do now is wait for her to get into the vehicle. Look, I'm trying to push too far ahead again, and it's fucking me up because I've got to press B to use for her to get in, because apparently she's codependent on me. Silly bitch. But what's going to happen here is as soon as she gets the vehicle moving, it's going to sporadically move back and forward. And you've got to stay behind it and use it as makeshift cover to shield you from the turrets. And it's it's a little harder to do than you'd think it would be, because it gets to a point where you have to bolster the wall, run as if it was fucking Crash Bandicoot, and you're jumping across gaps, you're mantling over things, and unfortunately you do tend to stray behind. And if you get too far behind, the turrets are going to rape you, and you've got to get a little bit lucky. And one of the easiest ways to stay alive when you don't have cover and you're being shot is to roll. But unfortunately, rolling is slower than it is to run, so you're going to get really far behind if you're not careful. And right there is a pretty good opportunity. Oh, what the fuck am I on about? It's getting late, I'm getting tired. It's a pretty good display, that's the word I'm looking for, sorry. It's a good display of doing that almost perfectly. And right now, if you don't make this jump here, you will die, and if you don't make the next jump, you will also die. So be as quick as you can to get on top of the vehicle. Once you're on top of it, this is all a cutscene, you don't have to do anything, and it's going to take you towards the final section of the level. And I am sweating so bad, man. It's so hot in this conservatory. It really is. But this is a boss fight with the dog, and it's pretty simple. The first thing I like to do is I like to run around the arena and pick up all the orbs. A, because they're going to help you upgrade things, and unless you're going to be playing back through in another playthrough, you're never going to get an opportunity to come to this area. Also, while you're doing it, make sure you pick up as many of the projectile ammunition as you can for your plasma cannon, because this boss can take a hell of a long time if you're just going to attack him with your staff. I found that out on my first playthrough. It actually took about 20 minutes just beating him up traditionally. If you've upgraded the damage of your plasma cannon like I have, a headshot from that is going to take a quarter of his life. And if you've got enough ammo, you can kill him really, really quick. The only problem is, I think he has 2 life bars, and in between the life bars he does a little running thing where you have to chase him down with your Nimbus Cloud, and you have to do a quick time event. And you can actually keep attacking him. The only problem with it is it can go on forever, because unless you let him do his little run away thing so that you can hit him with a quick time event, it'll just go on forever. But there's his life bar down really quickly. Now you have to wait for him to recover, run away, stick up his ass like I'm doing right now, and as soon as it says the quick time event, nail him with that, and then it's his final life bar, and it's the exact same. A good technique for this guy as well is when you stun him with this electricity, beat him up for a bit. As soon as he starts to recover, hit him again with the stun, and you can just keep looping him in an animation where he can't attack you and you can attack him. Obviously, the charge ability on your staff that I've bought is really useful because it does a nice bit of damage. As you've just seen, it's the equivalent of a plasma shot. And just keep hitting him with the electricity. I've got 17 stored up, so I can feasibly do this until he dies without ever risking injury or anything like that. And this is the easiest way to beat this guy that I found. And once you deplete his life bar, you just have to chase him down again like a dog. Da-dunts. And do the quick time event, and you finish the level. And I'm sweating so much, my eyes are stinging because the sweat is running into my fucking eyes. How bad is that? Anyone would think I was on trial for being a paedophile or something. Unbelievable. I can't even imagine living in some of the places that the people watching this video come from. And I know it's one of those things that you get acclimatized to the longer you live there, but I am a very warm-blooded creature. I I'm always sweating. I'm always fucking, you know. If it wasn't for the fact that I have a really good metabolism and I sweat like a bastard, I would be the fattest motherfucker ever, considering my main hobby that I love and cherish is playing video games, which is probably the least amount of exercise you can get these days, unless you're quadriplegic or something. But that's the end of chapter 5, guys. I hope it helped. I hope you enjoyed it. I do apologise if the commentary was a little boring, kind of ran out of topics midway through. But thanks for watching, and you take care now.